If you're moving into a memory care or a residential care home, typically, especially in memory care, most of them supply the furniture. There's some that don't. Same with care homes. Some may not have the furniture, but you're not going to bring much because in a care home, it's just a bedroom, basically. Welcome to Aging in Style, the podcast dedicated to celebrating aging and what it takes to do it well. I'm Lori Williams. I'm a certified senior advisor and senior housing expert. In each episode, you'll learn stories of older adults who are thriving in their 70s, 80s, 90s, and in some cases in their hundreds. Whether you're an older adult or the child of an older adult, this podcast is filled with insightful resources, organizations that are doing incredible work, and stories that will inspire you to volunteer, learn, and who knows, maybe even skydive in your golden years. Hi, welcome to Aging in Style, and it's time for another edition of Ask Lori, which is questions that listeners have sent in to us, and my wonderful producer, Anna, who's been on many times. If you are a regular listener of the podcast, Anna is going to ask the questions, and I will provide the answers. So welcome, Anna.
Hi, Lori. Happy to be here. So let's dive right into the first question, which is, do I bring my own furniture to senior housing? Which one's accepted? Do I need to sell everything? What are my options?
Okay, that is an excellent question and one that we get frequently. So it's going to depend on the type of senior housing. So we're going to break this down. I think I kind of have like three things to answer here. So first off, if they're moving to, say, a senior apartment, independent living, or assisted living, those types of housing, you're going to bring your own furniture. Now, if you are downsizing from a 4,000 square foot home into a one bedroom apartment, clearly you're not going to be able to bring everything. So this is where I would say, either your family can help you with downsizing and sorting through everything, or there are services available that a lot of people don't know about. There's some great services, some that are local and some that are franchised throughout the country. One is Caring Transitions, which we've had them on the podcast in the past.
It was episode 29, by the way.
Episode 29.
It will be in the show notes. You know me, right. Like, it's the number. There you go.
I know. Yay, Anna. That's why I love you. But so these companies will come in and will actually work with you to, basically like make piles of, what this is going to go to your kids. This is going to be, going for an estate sale if it's worth enough. This is going to be junk, and this is what I'm actually taking. So they help you sort through everything. They can do everything. Obviously you pay for the service, so you could do everything to even to the point where they move the furniture that you've designated for your new senior living apartment, even hang pictures on the walls. Just do everything so you walk in and it's done, which would be the way to do it, in my opinion, if you can afford it.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, just in itself, I've had to do something similar with, helping my parents do that for my grandma's apartment, and it was quite the adventure. So yes. For sure, I had it. And I'm from Portugal, and we don't have that kind of service, so that would have been wonderful had we had that. So, okay, yes. So that's option number one.
Yeah, okay. So, and to know that there are these services out there that you don't have to do it all on your own. Just know there is a cost involved, obviously, but there are these services that will take care of all this for you, which, I've lived in my house almost 27 years. So when the day comes that I move out, I will be employing one of these services because I don't like the thought of any of that. Packing, moving, all of that just gives me like hives to think about. But anyhow, so that's option one, along with having someone help you do it, make the move. Option two, if you're moving into a memory care or a residential care home, typically, especially in memory care, most of them supply the furniture. There's some that don't. Same with care homes. Some may not have the furniture, but you're not going to bring much because in a care home, it's just a bedroom, basically. So most people just bring a bed, maybe a dresser and a chair. That's really pretty much it. And a lot of the care homes even have the flat screen TVs up on the wall, so you don't even have to worry about doing that. And then you would just bring pictures and, things that make it feel homey for them. Where it can get a little different is that, a lot of times when people are moving to memory care or a care home, they are also in the process of going on hospice. And so in that case, it makes the move even a little bit easier for you because hospice provides the hospital bed, all the medical equipment, like the little table, everything that you need. And that's all covered by Medicare. So you would pay nothing for that. And hospice would have the room set up. Again, you would bring in like a favorite blanket and pictures and make it as homey as possible.
Just on that note, I think that, again, one of my grandmas is in the situation where, she has limited mobility. And you just realize how the furniture from back way then is just not suited for seniors. A lot of them have legs. There are tripping hazards. A lot of them are just too low to the ground. If anything, sure, there's that emotional attachment, but at the same time, it's a fall hazard. Most of these, or they're not ergonomic. The poles aren't good for if they have some limited mobility in their hands. So it just, even though it may be hard to look at like, that's their favorite piece of furniture, at the end of the day, it may not work for their needs. So that's something to kind of like rationalize a little bit, right?
That's so true. Even if you're moving into independent or assisted living, if there are some mobility issues, the bed that maybe they've had since 1978, is not, maybe they love the bed, but it's not going to be the right, it's too low or it's just not the right fit for them any longer. So you want something that is going to be better suited. And sometimes we have people, I remember one specifically where this lady, for whatever reason, she was so attached to her formal dining room. And she had the big table, the big china cabinet with, all of her china, and she was not parting with it. So she was moving to independent living. She got a 2-bedroom apartment and 1 bedroom. She crammed all that stuff in. But you know what? It made her happy. That would have given me a little anxiety. It was a little too crammed in there, but it made her happy. So you have to think about that. Maybe, and I don't know the story, but maybe it was that she had always wanted that furniture and maybe it took her, 30 years of marriage to get it or whatever. Right. But that was something that meant a lot to her. So sometimes, I think obviously everyone's different and be flexible with what they want. And if they want a 2-bedroom to put their formal dining room furniture in, then you know what, go for it.
That's the compromise, right? Yeah. Sometimes. Fair enough. All right. And what was option number 3?
Option number 3 was actually where I was going to say that we need that we have the caring transition kind of piece where they can come in and pack them up and help them. I kind of combine that with one. So not to confuse things.
Okay, so basically is when you're downsizing or right-sizing, actually, that was a better word that at some point was used. So where you're just removing...
You don't have to do it on your own.
Right.
There's resources out there. In another podcast where we talked about this was with Trisha Spurrier, the realtor, because she does the whole right-sizing. And so we talked about that with her too, just that there are these services. So kind of to recap, when moving, you can take your furniture yourself to senior apartments, independent and assisted. Typically, memory care and care homes, they'll provide it, or maybe hospice is providing it. Or if you are bringing something, it's not much at all. And then the third option is that, there are services to help you with this. Don't feel like you have to do this by yourself.
Awesome. Yes. And I think actually that episode of Caring Transitions, they were sharing a lot of tips on if you want to do it in several stages where you bring in the family, where you make like that almost like an exciting event. I really love that episode. So I think people should be listening to it. Honestly, it was so good. Yeah. I was like, I never thought about that. It makes it less like painful.
It does. And you know what? We talked to a lady, and I'm trying to remember which episode it was. It was the really sweet lady who's an author. She's 87. And she talked about when she downsized, she had a big house. She brought the grandkids in and she gave them all those little like sticky dots, different colors, and everyone would put on something they wanted. And then it surprised her. I think it was a granddaughter who she never would have thought would have wanted the china teacups or whatever. I think that's what it was. It was something she would never have thought she would want. That's what she wanted. So that's kind of the beauty of it too, that you could bring your grandkids in because you're trying to decide what they would want and you're completely off base. For me, for my example, when my dad passed away, the one thing and I still have it, the only thing I really wanted, I wanted his college class ring. and I still have it. Yeah. Yeah. I still have it and take it out every now and then and think about him. But you never know. So I thought that was a beautiful idea. Bring everyone together and just say, you pick out what you want, and then whatever you don't want, then we're getting rid of.
Right. And to be honest, if they're going to be quote unquote fighting, they're going to be doing it while you're here or when you're gone. So you might as well just manage that situation. Yeah. But
well, that's what she said. She's like, they could put the dots on things and then they can find it out. That's on them, not on me. I'm like, I love it. That's a great idea.
Yeah. That was episode 89, a practical guide to letting go and finding your joy or something with Catherine Etsy. So, yeah.
Yes, that was it. Yes. Yeah. She was an incredible lady. So yeah, that's a good
awesome.
a good podcast. So go listen to that one too.
That's actually one of the most listened to ones in 2022. So definitely
cool.
one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She was very interesting.
Yes.
All right. So I guess we answered that question with Ask Lori. So we're going to wrap this up. But if you have any questions, please email them to us. We're happy to add you onto our next edition of Ask Lori and feature your question. So please share with your friends and family and be sure to listen to all of our podcasts. And we will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.